And because like the very first thing that I saw in you, first of all, we met at church, a church event.
Right.
But you were consistent in your pursuit of a relationship with God. And I knew that that is something that I wanted in a partner. And
You
so,
don't want to have to influence that for someone.
right, and so I saw that in you, and I knew that it would be a good compliment for what I desire in my life. Welcome. This is For Better and Worth,
The podcast where we don't believe you have to sacrifice your relationship while you grow and build your net worth.
We are your hosts.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Ericka Young, and we're so glad you're joining us today.
All right, y'all, let's get into it. Hey, babe, how you doing?
I'm good. I am good. It has been a little bit of a busy day, but
Life is hectic.
Oh man, there's a lot going on right now. But yeah, we are here, and we have another year, babe.
Yes, another year down.
Another year down. Wait, that sounds like we're checking off the time, like we want it to be over.
No, another year behind us, but many, many more years ahead of us. And so, if for those of you who may not know, we just recently celebrated our 27th anniversary.
That sounds like so much time.
That's over a quarter of a century. So
I mean,
it's a long time.
Did you ever look at people when you were younger and be like, oh my gosh, they made it to 30 years, they made it to 25, and be like in awe?
It seemed like it was so long when you would hear that. And now I'm like, dang, how is that? How am I approaching that? Like, what happened?
No. Where did the time go?
I know what happened.
What happened?
Clank, clank.
That's right. I locked you down.
Yeah, exactly.
But you also locked me down.
That's true.
You could have just been like, nah, we just, we gonna wait.
I was like, I figured out long enough that you know what I wanted.
So when did you know that I was the one?
I think we've told people this story before, but I think early on I knew, just because even though I was a young man, I think I always had like an old soul.
Yeah.
And so I was always like real responsible and, doing the right things, even though, I was off on wrong paths early on. But I think after we met, I knew within 6 months that we would get married. So
it's funny because I think I wasn't trying to go that far. Like, I didn't want to rush knowledge of, is this person long term? But a friend of mine said she had a dream that we got married.
Your friend said, girl, you done came up on this good man. Don't let him get away.
Listen, that is not what she said.
She was like, girl, you better lock him up.
Do you remember what friend this was?
Yeah, Stara.
It was. So
I know what I'm talking about.
You do remember. I'm glad you do, because I do think it was only like 6 months of us dating. And what she said was she had this dream. And as a matter of fact, I remember specifically where I was. We were in the basement of the student union, she and I, at school. And she was like, Ericka, I gotta tell you about my dream. And she was so excited, but she was also nervous because she didn't want to sort of
influence you.
Yeah. She didn't want to taint or influence or whatever, but she was nervous about sharing it with me, but then she also was like excited, obviously, because she was like, I think he's the one. And so anyway, I think that was the first time anyone ever said anything about us getting married out loud. It was a friend of mine. And then, but it's one of those things where you don't want to say it, but you kind of know.
I think if you have friends that know you well enough and they know enough about you, they could read the signs. Mm-hmm. And, I think you just got to figure it out for yourself and not be dictated just by what someone says,
Yeah.
but clearly you thought it was right
Yeah.
as well. So
There have been moments that I will take a dream and I will chew on it. So like there have been times when some friends have had dreams and they have shared those with me, and I'm like, okay, where is the truth in this? Is this a foretelling, or what do I need to know about what it is that they're saying? And I've also had dreams about people, not many, but there are some distinct times where I definitely had dreams.
you went back to the Bible. Was that
I did.
was that Joseph that had dreams, or he was
Was it Joseph? Why
or was
can't
he
I?
interpreting? He was interpreting the dreams.
Oh,
That's what it was.
Nebuchadnezzar had the
Yeah,
dream.
yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And he interpreted it for the king.
Yeah.
And then his brothers were jealous of him.
They were salty.
Yeah, because he was.
Yeah, he was getting
favorite.
clout.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I think, we talk a lot about money on the podcast and relationships, but this is dedicated just to the relationship aspect, because I know people always say when we tell them how long we've been married, how long we've been together, they're like, wow, you don't hear about that, very often. And I think, people always ask, well, what are the things that you can tell, or the tips that you can share that have helped? And I always say the same thing, which it sounds so cliche, but it is communication. And I think the fact that we're a lot alike in a lot of areas, we have a lot of similarities, and they say opposites attract, but I think in our case, we share so many commonalities that it's easy enough for us to go along and get along, not just for the sake of it, but because we have common goals or thoughts about a lot of things. And it makes it easier to, be on the same page versus having contrasting views where there will be more, I think, opportunity to have conflict.
Yeah.
And so I think that works to our advantage. But I say communication also because, we really try and, talk things through, and I try to hear you, you try and hear me. But I still think that's a point where we have to work harder at, because if you're upset with me, you may not always hear what I'm saying. And if I'm upset with you, I may not always hear what you're saying, because I'm just like, you know what? Don't talk to me.
We do have those moments. We do have the, but
I'd be like, I may not say that to you, but my behavior is such that I'd be like, look, don't talk to me.
And I want to smooth it over. I want to make sure that we're going to be good at the end of the night. But you're right. We have alignment on our core values.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a core value of our faith where we have always aligned. There's a core value of family first, where we have always aligned. And we do have a core value of managing money well so that we can increase our net worth over time and leave a legacy. And I feel like in those three things, we've not had to, because we are in alignment, not that we always agree, because even in those areas, we have had disagreements or where we don't see eye to eye. But like you said, we've learned how to communicate. And I saw you over here. This is so funny because this is a testament of the fact that we are not the same. But you were making your triangle with your hands. A friend of ours asked this question. What shape would you be if you were a shape? Circle, square, or triangle? And before anyone said anything, I knew my husband's shape before anyone actually spoke up and said their shape. And I was in my like, okay, yes, so I'm curious on what he's going to say, because I didn't want to say it before you said yours. And yours is triangle. And
I'm trying not to make my triangle hands now.
But you're making the triangle because that is how you do life. And then I'm the circle. And, I was thinking, I see like a full picture, and I like the soft edges, and I love hugs and that kind of thing. And you are pointy and direct, and you said it.
I get business. I get to business. I get things done.
When you were just talking about how don't if we're not in alignment, don't talk to me. That's when your finger was in the point. That is what made me think about it. And I
Oh
was
man.
like, but I can appreciate, like, that's the thing that I feel like I've learned from you, is like that you are a person who, you're direct, you gonna handle business. You're not gonna let anybody take advantage of you or yours. You know what I mean? And you are. I would not say at all that you're mean, but I think that when someone does something that is off or incorrect, or they rub you the wrong way, you have a way of letting them know. Listen, we're not playing these games.
Yeah, I definitely. When you even said mean, I was like, I'm definitely not mean.
No, 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 no.
I'm
You're
a
not mean,
laid.
but you're direct. That is. But
I'm a
people can
definitely a laid back kind of guy.
but people can mistake your directness, or as mean, if they don't know you.
Yeah, yeah. I think because I have just a serious resting face.
We got to work on that resting face.
Right. And it's not. It's just It's just deadpan sometimes, and it's not. I'm not focused on anything or worried about anything. It's just my face is at ease.
And here is where the circle comes in. If we are standing in line waiting for something, or trying to get to the front of the line, and you have this deadpan serious resting face, I have to give you a smile to soften
You
where you
know,
are. That's where the circle comes in.
we had someone who was in one of our small groups, and she, every time you see her, she is all smiles all the time, just like, and it's not manufactured. She is just literally all the time smiling, and whenever I see her, I was like, okay, try and smile more, Chris, like. And so I'm working on it because I don't want people to think that, but I'm so good with people though.
You are. You're a people
You know
person.
what I'm saying? But it's like it seems contradictory, but I think as it goes in relationships though, we both have, things that we bring to the relationship, because if you were like me, it'd be too much to handle. Like people wouldn't want to
Whoa.
be around us.
Whoa.
Right. And if I was like you, it would be a lot as well. So it's almost like we need to balance each other out. But
Ooh, if you were like me, I think that would, I hate to say it, but if it was two of us like me, I feel like we would be pushovers. And I don't think I'm a pushover, but I feel like
you don't
I
want
would
to get
let things
into
slide because I
yeah,
don't
you
like
don't like
conflict.
conflict.
I don't like
So
conflict. So if there were two of us who didn't like conflict, I don't
yeah,
think that we would um be able to get what we need in the time that we
yeah.
need it from others around us. And I think that we might run over each other a little bit with that.
And I don't like look for conflict, but I'm always like I'm not afraid to engage if there's something that may feel contentious. It's like, well, look, you just got to handle it. Just do it. Like, let's just deal with it and move on. But I think sometimes that's tough for people to have that mentality. But I think in our relationship, it has served us well. And I think the things that we're talking about, like just the conversation that we're having right now, that comes with time.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have learned each other because one, we put the time in to try and understand one another. And when you put that time in, we can make it those years because I know how to respond to you and you know how to respond to me. And so as people are listening to this, or if you're watching on YouTube, see, we just you take the cues
Yeah.
and you respond to the cues appropriately, and I think you just don't get off into a rut one way or the other.
You know what's interesting? I think that's one thing that I've learned how to do from you, is to not be afraid of conflict. I used to be afraid of it, and I'm definitely not anymore. Um, and I've learned how, in my way, with my
Hmm.
personality, to handle situations that are not ideal with grace and tact, but also not to be wishy-washy or allow
Right.
somebody to run over me. Like I don't I find a way to insert my way of being into the situation so that I can ensure that parties are happy. And so I've learned that. I think that's something that I have learned from you, because that's not, so that made me better. I fully believe that
Mm-hmm.
that has made me better. And one of the things that I say, just on that note, to our daughters who are growing up into they are young women right now, and the thing that I say to them and anyone else is that the person that you date, that you're spending time with, or that you are going to marry, or I should say, that they should make you a better human. Like,
Yeah.
you need to know in the dating process that they are making you a better human, and you need to be able to verbally articulate how they are making you better. How are they challenging your belief systems so that you can go to a higher level? How are they encouraging you so that you can show up well at work? Or how are they influencing you in a positive way in your faith? Like, and that's I think that's huge. And because, like, the very first thing that I saw in you, first of all, we met at church, a church event.
Right.
But you were consistent in your pursuit of a relationship with God. And I knew that that is something that I wanted in a partner. And
You
so,
don't want to have to influence that for someone.
right, and so I saw that in you, and I knew that it would be a good compliment for what I desire in my life.
Yeah.
And there are other things as well, but I just think that they are you when we're talking about a relationship, you need to be thinking about, how is this person making me a better human?
Look, I think about, well, it's interesting you say that, because I think about how you have impacted me. And I think you have made, softer sides, softer edges, rounded out my points a little bit. Because as you were talking previously, I was thinking about, like, growing up in Detroit, on the east side of Detroit, and my mom, we used to call her Big Mary, and she since passed away, but she didn't play.
Yeah.
She ain't take stuff from anybody, and that's what she used to tell me. Don't let anybody just push you around, or don't take any stuff from people. And what you've taught me is that there's a way to do that without coming off like
Harsh.
super harsh or aggressive. Just, be firm, but you can do it with a smile. And now I tell, the girls, and I even think about, you catch more bees with honey. And you guys always joke about how, like, I may be, a triangle, but I get people to do things for me all the time.
Listen.
And get free stuff. And I know the girls and you are always like, how do you do this? Because I am a people person. And I think sometimes people can appreciate a direct nature. But I think about my mom, we would joke how she would pull her glasses down and look over them. And you knew, oh, she not playing. Don't mess around with her.
Yeah.
But I feel like over the years, I have taken cues from you. And, so like you said, you definitely have made me a better person over these, 27, 29 years.
I know we've known each other 29 years.
That's a long time.
That is a long time.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, seriously. You know what? So when a friend
When I
of
just
ours,
think about the numbers, I'm just like, ooh, man, that's
right,
a long time.
yeah. When my friend texted to both of us and said happy anniversary, and what was your response to her in her congratulations celebratory text?
I just said thank you, and it's been good. It's been hard and it's been long.
Oh my gosh. I know you don't think that living with me has been hard and that it has been long. And here's the thing, this is what's crazy, is that I feel like the last 5 to 10 years have gone by so fast. Yeah. I remember when there was this moment, because I believe you taught me this. I really do believe you taught me this. And then it came back to bite you. There was this time I crossed this milestone on a birthday, and there was just something in me, and I just started speaking up more. I started disagreeing, or I
I
started.
was like, whoa.
So you taught me how to be tactful and to command respect, but also to essentially speak up for myself. And when I
was like, I
began
was
to
talking about with other people.
right. So
Okay.
so when I'm doing that with you,
I'm
you were like, hold on.
I'm
Wait
like,
a minute now.
I'm like, hold on now.
You doing too much. You doing too much.
You know, who you talking to? I know you ain't talking to me like
but I didn't say it like I was rising up or anything.
I know, but you know the inner East Side kid is like, well, hold on,
and it could be as something.
Hold on now, Playboy.
And that's literally how you would.
What
take
you
it.
trying to get into here?
So, for instance, you might say, I don't know. You might say, "Do you want to do such and such?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to do that." And you like,
I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna do it then.
Well, what we doing? We getting jiggy with it, like.
All right. Well, don't do it. I'm gonna do it. But it's funny. I mean, you got to be able to laugh at yourself, you know.
Yeah.
And I think in relationships, like as people are listening to this, you can't take yourself too seriously,
Right?
Because if you take yourself too seriously in relationship, you know, you can't brush things off. Mm-hmm. You can't keep it moving. You know, you can't move by small infractions. And you know, I've coined a term, and I mean, maybe somebody said it, but I hadn't heard anybody say it. But you know, don't major on the minors, because people make big things out of so many small things, and you got to focus on the things that matter. And back to the point you said, like the last 5 to 10 years seem like they have just gone so fast. Focus on what matters, because as life keeps moving and keep rolling, and God willing, we keep living, you know, the time gets shorter and shorter and shorter. So you better make the most of the time that you have, and focusing on the little things that ultimately don't matter. You know, you got to focus on the things that really matter. Now, I will say a bunch of little things can add up to a big thing if they go unaddressed. But don't just pull in the driveway, park, and hang out in little item or little issue lane. You know, pull in, pull out, and keep it moving. Get back on your journey. So
yeah, I think that when there's always going to be us rubbing each other wrong sometimes, or somebody's not having a great day, or sometimes, you know, things happen at work, or for me with a client or whatever. And there's just this.
Life is going to life.
Yeah, life is going to life. And the ability to let go of some small things without allowing it to cause a rift between you, or the ability to share, this has bothered me, annoyed me, how can we move through it? Knowing how to decipher between the two. Like, when is a time to say it and when is a time not to say it, or when do I need to let it go? Like, that's, I think, humongous. And we have had moments, and I don't think we've had them recently, but we've had moments where those little things incrementally became this moment where it was like, I'm sick of you. You know what I mean? We didn't say that. We don't argue, but there would be these moments where it's like, well, for the last week, you've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things. And it's like, wait a minute. I didn't know I was getting on your nerves since last Sunday.
So that's why it's important to deal with things in the moment, because if you let things add up over time, they create those rifts. And we talked about how, you know, in relationships and just in life in general, fighting isn't fair. And you fight ultimately to win. And if you get into a fight with your spouse, you know, a fight of words, and you're trying to fight to win, you can cause irreparable damage. And that's why, you know, you have to be mindful about what you say, how you say it, when you say it. And it's better, I believe, in the moment to just say, hey, you know, I really need you to do such and such, or like hear me, or, you know, show me love this way, because then you can do something about it versus creating a narrative or a story that you never share with your partner or your spouse. Because if you allow that narrative to creep in and create a story that the other person isn't aware of, that can create problems of its own.
And now, I don't enjoy arguing. That's not really in my.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Some people like the tussle. I do think that some people enjoy the tussle. I'm not one of those people.
Go take some judo or some jujitsu
Get some
classes.
aggression out.
Yeah, just
but
put somebody in an arm bar or something, you know.
not your
like
spouse.
that. Yeah, yeah. Go to a class and do it with a stranger.
But we don't do that with one another. But I will say that I have had some arguments or intense fellowship with you when you weren't in the room.
Like in your head.
In my head.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I have had these conversations where I'm talking to myself in the shower. But you know what it does for me? It's a little therapeutic because then it's like I take a little bit more of a step back and I'm like, does this really matter? Or I've gotten to a place where I'm like, oh, now I know how to say what needs to be said without causing harm or damage.
You know, it's funny. While you talking, the only thing I heard is, oh, so you talking smack behind my back. That's all I heard.
Listen, nobody else heard it. It was me and myself and I.
I was like, oh, so this what we doing? You talking smack behind my back, huh? Oh, okay.
Have you had arguments with me when I wasn't
Absolutely.
in the room?
You walk out the room, I'd be like, man,
you be cussing me out. That's what it is. You be see, I don't cuss you out in my time where I'm arguing with you behind the scenes.
Like, man, if you don't go and get your butt out of here.
You be cussing me out. So
no, I'm not a cusser.
No, not to my face. I'm saying like that's the whole point is behind the scenes you be like just and then
my aunt used to tell me, you know, my aunt Alice used to say sometimes you got to cuss for emphasis, you know. So maybe if I'm by myself, I'm like this.
You didn't, we weren't
this son of a gun.
We didn't cuss for a long time, but I think when we got them kids out the house, when the last one graduated from high school, it was like, I think we started using some choice words just for emphasis, like you said.
Once in a while.
Just once in a while, just because for some reason
That's
just
terrible.
Felt good.
Let's move on, okay? You're telling people the kids moved out, you start cussing.
I did. I had my little water bottle. On my water bottle it says, I love Jesus, but I cuss a little.
But you know what? You don't even sound right cussing. So I'm
That's
glad,
what they told me.
That's not, That's
what they told me when
a regular thing for you.
When I was in high school, they would tell me that I didn't cuss well. So I stopped and I just didn't do it again until the kids graduated. Yeah.
But Samuel Jackson is known for his
Oh yeah, I know.
His cussing ability. So
I didn't.
One word, his 2 word or 2 syllable, or maybe it's 2 word. His
it's
2 word cussing. So, but it's just funny.
Yeah.
But I think as people are hearing us, just know that I say the ride has been great.
Yeah.
But I ask you this question, like, I think you had a question about. Like, what have I taught you about love or how to love that sticks out or stands out to you right now?
You've been consistent. You still hug me. You still show affection. You have not fallen off of the showing me that you love and care for me. And there are times when you realize now that I'm like, I love you, but I'm not the touchy-feely first person, but you have been consistently for 27 years showing me that you love me in that way. And so you have taught me that love can be consistent. And so I appreciate that. And what that does for me is I relax in a place where I know who I got at home. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that when I come home to you, like I know you love me. You know what I mean? I think I said it to you the other day. I can't remember where we were. And I'm like, I mean, I got a man who loved me at home. And I remember saying it and I'm like, I might say that to my girlfriends, but I said it while we were in the car together or wherever we were at. And I was like, I'm not worried about it. It wasn't about another guy. It was just about like, I know who I have this confidence in my partner. And
I do love you.
Thanks, babe. I love you too. So I've learned how love can be consistent.
Okay.
Yeah. So what would you say that you've learned about love from me?
To think the best of people. When I was, ever since I started playing football in Little League, in high school, and played some in college, I always played defense. And in my life, playing defense was, I'm good at playing defense. And I've learned from you to like think the best of people. Don't always think, bad or nefarious things. Like give people the benefit of the doubt. And I think that has helped, me just not to put walls up with people or to shut down. Give people an opportunity, to prove themselves right or prove themselves wrong. And so because I think that you are like, I just call you a good person because you think the best of people. You don't go to, the place that a lot of people and think the worst of people. You always think the best of them. And I'm like, dang, that's a good trait to have. And I've tried to, emulate that in some of the expectations that I may have of people. And I've learned to manage expectations, but that's part of the defensive side. And so, sometimes you'll say something, I'll be like, man, don't nobody want to hear that. But it makes me think about it, because I'm good at defense. But, sometimes I'll be like, man, just chill out. Don't major on the minors, Chris. Focus on the things that really matter.
And if it's something around us, we're like, don't nobody want to hear that. And I'm like, babe, we're on the same team.
Yeah.
We're on the same team. And you've said that to me. And then there are times when I have to say, same team, hon. Like this is Team Young. Like
we're not in a battle against each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
this has been good, babe. You know what? God willing, another 27. Let's go.
Yeah. Or more.
And then some.
Yeah, 27. I'm thinking about how old I'd be. I was like, nah, man,
we need
about
37.
You get nothing.
What?
Nothing.
You was gonna say something off, wasn't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
I checked myself.
On that note, happy anniversary, babe.
Yeah, happy anniversary. And to all you out there aspiring to have long-term relationships, it's possible. Things haven't been perfect, but they've been good. They've been perfect for us. So.
That's right. Our version of perfect.
Yep.
So
It's all good.
Yep. So until next time,
we're out. Thank you for spending some of your time with us today.
We appreciate all of your support. So be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen to this podcast.
You can find us on Instagram at For Better and Worth.
And sign up to receive our free guide, The 7 Reasons Your Money Relationship Isn't Working with Your Partner, on forbetterandworth.com.
Until next time, we're out of here.